Every single night, over 50 million Americans wake up in the dark. Not because they want to, but because their body forces them to. They get out of bed, slowly, carefully, trying not to fall, trying not to fully wake up. And they tell themselves the same lie. It's just age. I used to believe that too. My name is Margaret Lane. I am 101 years old, and for 11 years of my life I did not sleep properly. Not once. Not a single full night. I woke up 2 times, 3 times, sometimes 4, every night. And the worst part wasn't the walking. It wasn't the cold floor. It wasn't even the exhaustion. It was what came after. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling something I didn't understand at the time. Not pain, not fear, something heavier, something empty. At first, I ignored it. It started when I was 79. One night, I woke up at around 2 in the morning. That familiar pressure. I walked to the bathroom, came back, lay down, and then I couldn't fall asleep again. I remember looking at the clock, watching every minute pass, and thinking, this is new, but it's probably nothing. I was wrong. Within months, it became routine. 2 times a night, then 3, then sometimes 4. Sleep stopped being rest and became something broken, scattered, incomplete. I wasn't living days anymore. I was surviving nights. Something strange started happening to me. Small things at first. I would forget why I walked into a room, misplace objects, lose track of conversations. Then it became worse. I would stand in my kitchen and feel disconnected, like I was slowly becoming someone else. And the scariest part? No one around me noticed, because everything looked normal from the outside. I went to doctors more than once. They ran tests, checked my heart, checked my bladder, and every time I heard the same sentence. At your age, this is normal. Normal. That word stayed with me because nothing about it felt normal. Feeling exhausted every day, forgetting who you are becoming, losing control over your own body. That didn't feel like life. That felt like slowly disappearing. And then something happened that I cannot forget, even now. There was a woman I knew. Her name was Eleanor. She was strong, sharp, independent. The kind of woman who never needed help, until she did. It started the same way, waking up at night, again and again and again. No one thought it was serious, not even her. 3 years later, she moved into assisted living. Not because of a disease, not because of an accident, but because she was too exhausted to live alone anymore. The last time I visited her, she held my hand, looked at me, and said something I will never forget. I don't understand what went wrong. And at that moment, neither did I. But today, at 101 years old, I finally do. And what I discovered was never about the bladder. For years I was looking in the wrong place. Every doctor, every article, every suggestion pointed to one thing: the bladder. Overactive bladder, weak bladder, aging bladder. That was the explanation I was given, and for a long time I accepted it. Because when something keeps happening, you stop questioning it. You start adapting to it. You build your life around it. But something about it never made sense to me, because during the day I was fine. No urgency, no constant need, no problem. But the moment I lay down, everything changed. That question stayed in my mind for years, quiet but persistent. The answer didn't come from a doctor. It didn't come from a prescription. It came from something much simpler, something I had ignored my entire life: my legs. Let me explain something that no one ever explained to me. All day long, you are standing, sitting, walking, and gravity is doing its work, pulling fluid down into your legs, your ankles, your feet. You don't notice it, because it happens slowly, quietly. Your socks leave marks. Your ankles look a little heavier by evening, and you think, that's just age. But here's what actually happens. That fluid doesn't disappear. It stays there, stored in your legs, like water in a sponge. And then you lie down. The moment your body becomes horizontal, everything reverses. Gravity changes direction, and all that fluid starts moving back into your bloodstream. Your body suddenly thinks, there's too much fluid, so it reacts. Your heart sends a signal, your kidneys respond, and your bladder fills. And you wake up at 2 a.m. thinking your bladder is the problem. But your bladder is not the problem. It was never the problem. Your bladder is just the final stop, the last step in a process that started in your legs 12 hours earlier. This is why stopping water at night doesn't work, because the fluid is already inside you. It's not coming from what you drank. It's coming from what your body stored. This is why supplements don't work, because they target the wrong place. This is why so many people suffer for years and never get better, because they are solving the wrong problem. When I understood this, everything changed. Not slowly, not gradually, but immediately. For the first time in years, I felt something I had forgotten: control. And I realized something that frightened me, not because of what it meant for me, but because of what it meant for Eleanor. She didn't need to suffer like that. She didn't need to lose her independence. She didn't need to disappear, just because no one told her this. And that's when I made a decision. I stopped listening to what I was told and started paying attention to what my body was actually doing. And what I started doing next was so simple that it almost felt foolish, but it changed everything. What I started doing was not complicated. It didn't require money. It didn't require medication. It didn't even require strength. It required attention. Every evening, about 90 minutes before bed, I did one thing. I lay down and I lifted my legs. That's it. Not for hours, not as an exercise, just 15 to 20 minutes. But what that small action does is something powerful. When you lift your legs above your heart, you allow gravity to do the work early. The fluid that would have returned to your bloodstream at night starts moving while you are still awake. Your kidneys respond. Your bladder fills. And instead of waking up at 2 a.m., you go to the bathroom before bed. You release what your body was going to wake you up for. For the first time, I wasn't reacting anymore. I was preparing, and that changed everything. But I didn't stop there, because once you understand the system, you start seeing all the small things that affect it. Every morning, I started doing something else. Heel drops. I would stand in my kitchen, rise up onto my toes, and let my heels drop back down. 30 times, less than a minute. That movement activates the pump in your calves. It helps your veins push fluid upward instead of letting it sit all day. Then I looked at my evenings, things I never questioned before. Salt, cheese, processed foods, even small things like sauces. All of them hold water in your body all day and release it at night. So I made a simple change, not extreme, not restrictive, just awareness. I stopped adding extra salt. I avoided heavy evening foods. And after late afternoon, I stopped drinking large amounts of water. Not completely, just less. And something started happening, not overnight, not magically, but slowly, clearly, consistently. I started waking up less, from 4 times to 3, from 3 to 2. And then one day, I woke up and realized something strange. I had not woken up at all. That morning, I didn't get out of bed immediately. I just lay there, not because I was tired, but because I was trying to remember the last time I had felt that way. Rested. It had been years, and in that moment, I understood something important. This wasn't about sleep. It was about regaining control over my life. Because what people don't realize is this: lack of sleep doesn't just make you tired. It changes you. It affects your memory, your mood, your decisions. It makes you slower, weaker, more dependent. And that's how it begins. Not with a disease, not with a diagnosis, but with small things that slowly take your independence away. Just like Eleanor, not from illness, but from exhaustion. And even though everything improved, even though I started sleeping again, even though my body responded, there was still something missing. Because fixing my sleep did not fix everything. There was something deeper, something I had ignored for much longer. And that was the real reason most people decline. Even after I started sleeping again, something inside me still felt incomplete. My body was better, but my life, it hadn't fully returned. And that's when I understood something that took me almost an entire lifetime to see clearly. The body does not fail first. The life does. I have watched people age, not from the outside, but closely, quietly, over years. And I can tell you something that most people don't want to hear. People don't decline just because they get older. They decline because they slowly stop being needed. I saw it happen to strong men who worked their entire lives, who knew exactly who they were. And the moment they stopped working, something inside them faded. Not immediately, but quietly. Within 2 years, they were not the same person. I saw it in women, too. Sharp, capable, independent women who slowly became smaller when their families stopped needing them, when the phone stopped ringing, when their days became silent. And that's when I understood something that no doctor had ever told me. Your body listens to your life. If your life becomes empty, your body follows. Not dramatically, not suddenly, but slowly. And by the time you notice, you feel like you're losing yourself. There was a time after my husband passed when I would wake up in the morning and ask myself a simple question. Why should I get up today? Not in a dramatic way, not in sadness, just quietly. And the answer was often unclear. That is a dangerous place to be, because when your life has no reason, your body stops trying. And then one evening, my granddaughter called me. She was nervous, overwhelmed, studying for an exam. She asked if I could help her. Just read questions, check answers. Nothing important, nothing big. But we spent 2 hours together, and by the end, she was laughing, relieved, grateful. And when we ended the call, she said something simple. I needed that. The next morning, I woke up, and I didn't ask the question anymore. I already knew the answer, because someone needed me, and that changed everything. That's when I understood purpose is not emotional, it is biological. Being needed changes how you sleep, changes how you think, changes how your body functions. Yes, lifting my legs helped. Yes, changing my habits helped. But that alone is not why I am still here. I am still here because I did not disappear from my own life, because I chose to stay involved, to stay useful, to stay present. So if you are watching this, whether you are 60, 70, or even older, I want you to understand something. Your body is not failing you. It is responding to you, to your habits, to your routine, to your life. Fix your evenings. Pay attention to your body. Make small changes. But more importantly, find one reason to get up tomorrow. Not a big reason, not a complicated one. Just one person, one moment, one purpose. Because that is what keeps you here. My name is Margaret Lane. I am 101 years old. Last night I slept through the night, and this morning I got up, not because I had to, but because I had a reason to, and that makes all the difference.